Welcome to the Word of Truth. This is Teacher D.H. Boone. Today's message is called Never Too Late to Start Over Again. The enemy wants us to believe that things are impossible with God, but all things is possible with God. And a lot of times God will allow things to transpire in your life for it to seem like it was an expiration date. But God, He blesses outside of society. See, with society, it says that you have to be a certain age to do this. You have to be a certain size to do this. You have to have a certain experience to do this. But see, God, He blesses outside of society so people will know that it's Him. So that's why when you surrender to the Lord, you have to listen to Him, and you have to believe that He could do exceeding and above whatever you could imagine. I don't care how old you are, what line of work you do. I don't care if you're tall, you're short, you're slim. I don't care what your ethnic background is. It doesn't matter. What you do in life. God can resurrect things, and God can give you a new start, and that's why Jesus died, for us to have a new start. So if the enemy come to you and say it's too late, if God say it's not too late, then it's not too late. If God be for you, can't nobody be against you. I'm here to tell you that don't never go to sleep on your dream. You make sure you keep your dream alive. You don't let nobody talk against your dream. The enemy will say you too old. He will say it's too late, but you have to listen to God. If God say that it's going to happen, then it will happen. God's timing is more accurate than ours, and sometimes it look like in the natural that God is not moving, God is not doing anything. But you have to realize that a day to God is like a 1,000 years. See, a day is a day to us, but it's 1,000 years to God. So we have to realize the one who invented time. We have to trust Him. We have to realize that God, He knows all, and we can't do nothing without Him. And that's why, a lot of times people get depressed. People turn to alcohols and drugs because they think their life is over. They think they can't get a new start. They feel bad. The enemy make them feel bad about, feel guilty about how they spend a certain part of their life, but he make them feel hopeless. That's why you never give up your hope. You always know that whatever was promised can be had, and you have to realize that the events will turn out for your greater good. Look what happened to Joseph. He was sold into slavery by his brothers. Now it looked like he was sold into slavery, and that was that, and he wasn't going to have a promised future. But what the enemy meant for bad, his brothers meant for bad, God used for good. So we see that he had an expected end. He had to go through some things. It seemed like his life was over. He was sold into Potiphar's house. He was in charge of Potiphar's house. He was accused of rape. He was thrown in jail, but God used him in jail. But God used him in Potiphar's house. He was over Potiphar's house. You see, wherever he was, God still blessed him. But God was establishing, molding him, and shaping him. It wasn't too late, but God was preparing him for his position to be second in command to Pharaoh. And yes, his family did look up to him, his brothers, and he ended up helping his brothers and his father. But see, the moral of the story is, I don't care what the enemy do to you. The enemy might sell you into slavery. He may, do something bad into your life, do something bad to you, but you have to forgive them, whatever the enemy do, and know that, hey, God still got a purpose. God could use what the enemy did for bad. God could turn and use it for good. That's what Joseph said to his brothers. He said, what y'all meant for bad, God used for good. And so whatever going in your life right now, you have to realize whatever going on, it may seem like it's bad, but God could turn it around and use it for good. It's never too late with God, because all things is possible with God. I don't care. I had heard somebody was in their 30s and was in the I think the summer league or developing league, and then he had played his first year. He was 30 something, you know, and you know what? That's unheard of. But with God, all things is possible. And it's sometimes people decide they want to be a doctor. I don't care how old you are. If you say you want to be a doctor and God say you can start going to school when you 30. You don't have to go to school when you 18. There's no law to say that you have to go to school when you 18 as soon as you get out of college, you know. And that's why people need to follow their own purpose and their own journey, because everybody is going to do something different. So you can't base your life on what somebody else doing, because see, God may have a different way for you, a different avenue, a different place for you, and and the road that he have for you may be different from somebody else's. That's why you can't judge your role based on somebody else's. It's never too late. You know, I heard somebody was 48 years old, just gave birth to her first child. You know, look at Janet Jackson. I think she was 50, or she might have been 47, but look at you know, but how, you know, she was either in her late 40s or, you know, but, and look at Halle Berry. She waited to the later years too. See, all things is possible with God. Some people may look at them and say, well, why did they wait? They waited because they waited on the Lord. And see, we cannot judge nobody else's situation. And that's why you can't tell everybody everything, because people will say, oh, well, it's too late. It's past the time. If God says it's going to happen, it's going to happen. But God is doing something in you to get you ready for that. And that's why we must trust God on the way to where we're going. You have to trust him. Keep hope alive. Keep your faith. And you always have to know that all things is possible with God. It's never too late to start over again. That's why Jesus died on the cross, for the forgiveness of our sins, so we can have a new life in him. So if we're going to start over again, you may start over again when you're 20, when you're 30, or whatever. But starting over again mean that you can start over again. The things that you thought that was dead might be God could bring them to life. Or the things that you didn't accomplish, God say you could accomplish now. Or the things that you felt that you messed up, God say, I got something new. I got something different. I got something better. But see, the thing about it is you have to trust God. You got to put your faith and trust in him and know that God could do exceeding and above whatever you could imagine. All you have to do is trust him. But it's not too late to start over. It's not too late to go back to school. It's not too late, you know, to follow that dream. It's not too late to follow your passion in your heart. It's not too late. If God say you can, then you can. All things is possible with God. But always remember, it's never too late. When God tell you to get up and go apply for that job, or go apply for school, or go and apply for that position or that role, then you do what God tell you to do. If God tell you to go to a certain place, then you go to that certain place, because you know God will never lead you astray. And whatever God give you, he will bless you with. God will give you the things and equip you to do whatever it is that you need to do. I pray that you enjoyed this message. Remember, it's never too late to start over again. Until next time, may the peace of God be with you. Peace.